Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we're actually seeing some pretty big drama going on as of right this second that's now making the news. Now, if you guys don't know, the first Descendant is a brand new game that's very similar to like Warframe and Destiny. Those are pretty much the two major games that people keep on comparing the game to. It's basically like you launch the game, you go to various open areas, you do a lot of objectives, very like sci-fi based with like character skills. So once again, I think the game more so is closely related to Warframe, but Destiny has been getting a really big comparison. And right now, there's some pretty big drama floating around that basically the game itself copied a lot of the individualized UI, assets, pictures, etc. from Destiny 2. So we're going to talk about this because PlayStation right now is probably not happy about another big major competitive game coming out there that might actually go take away people from Bungie themselves. And as well, people don't usually like utilizing AI, open source stuff, etc. when they're not really able to. So let's go talk about it. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below, and it does kind of suck too because I don't really like this art drama as well. So if you guys have kind of missed it, we made a quick video on it too, is that there was a VTuber, funny enough, like a little fox girl, cat girl, or something like that, who basically used free software and became really popular, made a lot of money, and kind of had a little bit of issues. The only reason why I bring this up is because there's always big drama when it comes to art, and art stuff in the general sense too as well. So, the first Descendant actually got called out is basically now apparently using barely changed Destiny 2 icons, and a lot of people are upset. So, there's a few things to kind of note first and foremost, is that when it comes to game identity, game vibes, this is a big thing to note, because it's like how the game feels. It's like the UI. And although it may be slightly changed, a lot of these things are way too close to similar to be a coincidence. Now, there was a little bit of murmurs of some of the stuff being stemmed off of some open, like basically open source stuff, basically like people use like, copy paste type things. But as well, a lot of these are also somewhat apparently based on the Destiny 2 team, all in-house, homegrown and made. So some people are also assuming some of the copyright open source stuff may have also just stemmed from Destiny, and someone kind of tones it down and like gets individual ideas from it. But either way, so the big story over here is the first Descendant, which I checked out. If you guys, and also want to hear two kind of, questions for this video before we deep dive into it. So as you're watching, comment down below. Do you guys think this is a big deal? A lot of you guys I'm more on the team of artists. I like the idea of brand new art, no AI, and especially in the creative end. And of course, I'm not a big fan of games that copy and paste, or as well copy and look very inspired, and I'll use that word lightly. So basically, I want to hear your thoughts. So when the first Descendant is mostly built from Warframe DNA in terms of gameplay-wise, players have also noticed that a number of in-game icons look awfully like ones from Destiny 2. One would be a coincidence maybe, but there are many, and this is of course too as well, because there's a lot of other icons people probably haven't had a chance to go and see long-term, etc. So in this case, you can see that there are tiny tweaks to almost all of them. I copy my homework without making it look like you copied it type situation. So think about it like it's not a one-to-one, but if we want to go and even show up the big thing over here, it's some of this stuff is pretty obvious. So if you kind of look at some of these over here, look at some of these are also details that some people have come up with regardless, and some things are very duh, but it's one of those things where if you have so many other things put together, it kind of looks a lot less like, oops, coincidence versus, oops, this was intentional and we got caught. So some of the things, once again, though, are different enough. Like if you look at even these, kind of staring at them one-to-one, it is a double loop circle, which you see on both ends inside of a bigger circle. We get that. And there's little bits and pieces of spark and other stuff floating around with internals as well. So it makes sense, we see it. Or things this with basically a bullet with those little outside ridges with things popping out. Once again, they just changed it from a circle to a hexagon or something like that, but still very similar. This one's probably the most copy-paste one we've had a chance to see so far, where it literally is just lightning, middle lightning, they only changed the tail. Or stuff like this design where my webcam is covering. This one actually isn't too much, I would probably say, that's just normal in my mind. But these ones down below, you can see the more distinctions between the two. Or it's just the design-wise of lightning, you have this weird circular cool UI feature, etc. Or even things like this, where you can definitely totally get similar things. You have an FPS game, if it looks similar, with abilities, I get it. Even for this one's a good example. Like, I understand, like, they're different enough, but a lot of these are for sure things you can take, like, you basically can see. Like, you can see this is a very, 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 very similar format. Now, you guys may disagree. That's totally fine. Leave a comment down below. I'm always right. But in my mind, it does seem like, and I kind of agree with Paul, a very copy-paste situation. So they're saying, for this one, basically, it's pretty clear that these weren't flat out taken from Destiny, but they were basically copied, like with an artist being like, here's 50 of them, go make 50 of our own versions and go from there. So while I'm not sure anything else is a one-to-one like this in the game, I've had a good example for this one too. Basically, players have noticed a gun that even looks like a lot of like a Destiny 2 design. The gun in question is the Different Dream, which you can see above, and the weapon that has taken its design aesthetic from the Ikleos series of weapons in Destiny 2, namely the Eklos Sniper. So if you guys have a chance to kind of look through these two various weapons, once again, they are different enough. And I can maybe see people like that would fight on this, which I understand. I want to hear your thoughts down below. But I'm one of those things where if there's like 50, 100 or so of these things all together, it's a lot, you know, like it kind of might have a little bit more negative connotation with it, if you will. Now, even look at these two different guns, like there is enough differences. Like you look at this weird triangle plot stuff. This is more forward. This one's more behind. The actual handles a little bit differently. The actual scope itself is differently. So like, I could see the inspiration from almost all these. I mean, the icons are way, way, way more crazy. You just kind of go through all these too as well. But if you guys kind of look, some other people have even kind of brought up other various things too as well. We've also been seeing some of these free-to-play on icons too, as I mentioned before. But a lot of these are more so like, how do I word this? Even if there is a little bit of a inspiration or copy paste from like free use assets, it's also about how you integrate it, how like you decide what weapons you utilize it for. Like let's go and say you have a Thunder character, and the same Thunder character is the same like abilities as like a Destiny character. It's like once or twice is a coincidence maybe, but once you see it a lot, it kind of becomes like that's a theme. Especially if the game is trying to go and mooch players off of, say, Destiny and Warframe, they will obviously want to take a lot of ideas and inspiration from Warframe and from Destiny, as we've seen before. But as we look through these all, it just seems like it's too much. Like, it seems like there's not enough creative ideas and original ideas and thoughts, at least in my mind, because there's even more than what I've shown you guys all throughout this video. So there's a lot more. And obviously, like, once again, I don't think you own necessarily like lightning. You don't own bullets or in a chamber or bullets as a whole, or even like plus signs, minus signs, like an icicle, whatever. Like you don't necessarily own that. Because duh, like that's just the internet, every game has it. But at the same exact time, it does seem like this is getting a lot more extra traction because a lot of people are just disappointed seeing through some of these two as well. And now to kind of go back to the gun example, this is also almost like a mixture of two. So if you look at this Destiny gun, you look at this, intertwine that over there. You have some of the handles too as well, which are pretty similar. You can totally see some of these designs. You have this big bullet or whatever. So combine these two as like a two. And once again, I want to know if you guys even think this is a big issue or not, because I mean, I'm sure PlayStation doesn't like it, but it is different enough where it's more of an annoyance rather than like we're going to take you to court. But if you kind of definitely look at these two weapons, once again, it really looks like someone sent 5 gun weapons and they're like, make this to a designer or make these icons to a designer. And they did, and they probably followed instructions well, but they also basically just kind of ripped a lot of soul from the other game. Now, I have enjoyed first Descendant. I think it does seem a little bit on the pay-to-win side, which once again, pay-to-win, trying to make margins, try to cut costs, utilize AI the best you can. And some people are also stating that these icons are also been utilized from AI, like AI services and AI companies, stealing the original rights for it, which, as you guys probably know, I've always been a very, very anti-AI guy. So they're saying they're not sure if it's more of a taken thing or more of a tribute. And they say they don't know. And it certainly resembles the aesthetic, but it's also not the exact copy, but is inspired. So that barrel and sleeper looks extremely close, obviously, though the fact that the gun is called Different Dream makes me think it could be a tribute rather than more of a ripoff. And this is them just trying to get more of a benefit of the doubt, though, as well. And the icon thing, though, the Russell's saying, and I agree with, is also worse. And there's also apparently other things all throughout the game, and people keep on seeing more and more as more people are playing it, saying there are a few other things so far. There's one shielded enemy with a weak spot that is in the center that exactly resembles like the Cabal Felix when it's struck. There's also the one main pieces of art of the game that was compared to Destiny ahead of the release, though. Although it's not, once again, a ghost, it does seem very very symbolic of Destiny with these little orbs. And a lot of people are saying it's just a bunch of games all combined together, and there's more of a focus on Warframe than Destiny, although there's other stuff with it too as well. So I'm curious, because they were seeing like a lot more of, they kind of called in some of these icons, copy pasted on here too as well. And I'm just kind of curious if you guys think this is a big deal, if it would stop you from playing the game, or if it even is like a copy 1-to-1. Because I do think it's similar, but it's not 100% similar, so it can kind of go either way. So it's one of those like gray ground videos, which is why it's kind of a fun video to talk about. So give me your thoughts and comments down below. We have the Twitter and Twitch room as well if you guys would like to follow down below, and I appreciate y'all for watching.